Look, I love my country, but I worship God. Some of you give lip service to the fact that you love God, but you worship your country. There's nothing perfect about our country's history. We fail every day to the proposition that all men and women are created equal. We fail every day. God has never failed. Never once in his history has he failed to love you, to care for you, whether you're black or white, male or female. We are all, the scripture says, created in the image of God. Long before you had rights in America, God gave you rights from heaven, rights to be called a child of God. And just as those men who died on that battlefield, many of you have forgotten what they died for, what they bled for. You have forgotten what Jesus died for and what Jesus bled for. Those men died so that we could have a country. Jesus died so you could have eternity. Some of you love your country. Some of you love your political party. Look, listen. I have political leanings. Some of you are like, yeah, I know. I know. But I have spiritual convictions. Some of you worship country. Some of you worship party. Some of you worship money. Some of you think there's never enough. That's why I'm a Republican. I've earned my money and I deserve it. Okay. It's funny to me. Both sides are arguing about money. Some think that you should keep what you've made and they think there's no limit on how much you should make. And then the others who are self-righteous think that the rich people should pay their fair share, but they get to decide what that is. Let me ask you this. Why is it greed to want to keep your money but not greed to take someone else's money? I think both the left and the right are screwed up. Because if you're all about money, you're not at all about God. That's right. Next, we have sexuality. Look, I'm a fan of sex. I'm appreciative that God invented it. I say, yay, God. But listen to me. I obey God. Some of you enjoy the church and you like the idea of God, but you obey your desires. And what you're fighting for is sexual freedom, but what ultimately will end up is eternal slavery. And some of you, well, I just worry about my children. I worship about my family. Look, I love my family. They are wonderful, beautiful people, but they are ugly, nasty gods. And some of you, what's wrong is you worship your family instead of God. You worship your kids instead of God. And don't even get me started on sports. Look, I can't even watch sports anymore because I don't want to listen to political sermons. I want to watch incredible athletic performance. And that's why so many of you guys were like, well, you should be more political. You should take a side and ruin church. I want this to be the last place where somehow it can be fair and balanced in some way. And at the end, I don't want it to be fair and balanced. I want you on God's team. That's right. Joshua 24:14 and 15 says, so fear the Lord and serve him wholeheartedly. Put away forever the idols your ancestors worshipped when they lived beyond the Euphrates River and in Egypt. Listen to these words. And serve the Lord alone. But if you refuse to serve the Lord, then choose this day whom you will serve. Let me just break this down for you. Conservatives, you want to worship the old gods. You want to go back. Liberals, you want to go forward. You want to worship the new gods. And you want to be done with everything that's in the past. Let me tell you something. We can't worship the past or the future. We got to worship God. You got to choose. You got to choose. Because let me tell you something, conservatives, there's some nasty stuff this country did to people. And you cannot worship the past and look at it authentically. And let me tell you something, liberals. All the things that you guys keep producing, all the things you keep making, I'm not particularly happy with a lot of your decisions. I'm not certain where you're taking us is the right place. I don't want to worship where you're taking us, and I don't want to worship the conservatives where they think we've been. I want to worship God. I want to worship God. And some of you are like, well, you got to take a stand. I am taking a stand. I'm taking a stand for Jesus. And the reason you don't like it is you've taken a stand somewhere else. And so we try to win votes and we lose souls, and people are checking out of church just like people aren't watching sports. People don't come to church for politics. People come to church for God. And we need to give them that. Who are you going to worship? The God of your ancestors? Oh, the God of Amorites. They're both the wrong gods. Whether the gods of the past or the gods of the future. Joshua said, I'm going to stick with Jesus. Who do you choose? Who do you choose today?